what does that, human-centric experience look like at Flow? And again, I'm going to be a little bit mindful because you mentioned it's not public yet. So what can you share
Mhm.
about how you guys approach human-centric design or how you approach technology from that perspective? And just to, brief everybody, like the challenge you guys are trying to tackle here is that there are people who are paying way too much in rental costs, and that um, as individuals too, that there's a crisis about like being alone and not having community in where they're living.
Yeah, I posted this on LinkedIn too, my thoughts on this particular piece. There are, what I can say is I don't think anybody would disagree that there are fundamental problems in, well, let's just say housing, in the world, forget just the United States, in the world, but certainly here in the United States as much as anywhere else. And that, this is not going to be a better app that solves it. It's not going to be, AI coming in and replacing all the people that run the building or whatever it is. I'm completely making that up. It's going to be that technology enables the actual real humans, those that live in the building and those that, support them, their neighbors and the great hosts that help run the building, et cetera, to form better connections with each other, but not as the thing, but as the thing that just helps that happen. And that's, I think that's really exciting, and driving things like community commerce so that it's easy for residents in the building to offer services or to interact with each other and to be a mutually beneficial interaction. And so there's just lots of stuff there. Now edit for a minute, just thinking it's the challenge here, right, is that there's a ton of, try this. There are a ton of really big problems. The center of all those problems is the center of the solution to all those problems is people, because they're fundamentally people relationships, people problems. And, technology today cannot help solve that. It's working and getting better. But I think we see an opportunity for it to do a whole lot more through things like community commerce and connectivity and connection and, respecting privacy, doing those kinds of things.
Yeah, and so at the core, as you said, it's people. But living in a world where everyone's so disconnected, how do you build that community, at least from your perspective? Like what is community? How do you connect people?
Um, yeah, this Jen is one I can't get into. This is part of the thing that's not public yet.
Gotcha. So outside of the technology aspect and outside of flow, like just from your personal perspective, how do you connect people?
Yeah. So that is, meeting people where they are, right? Recognizing that everybody comes to that interaction with a history, with a story. They're going through they have their stuff that's happening to them today. And if you expect them to meet you, you're going to have a difficult connection there. Versus if you are really listening and really paying attention to what's going on and hearing what they're saying, then you have and if particularly if both parties are doing that, then you have a significantly better chance of connecting together. And some of the best products that I've worked on, like for example, my time at WhatsApp, that's really one of the things that WhatsApp brings to the world at large. Billions of users sending billions of messages every day because it's a connection, because it actually helps them form and maintain those tight communal and family and personal and et cetera, even business ties. And that's just, I can just say personally, that's a really fun place and a really, I think valuable place, let alone interesting place to be kind of a part of, right? Whether I dabble in photography because it's that same kind of connection, bringing that subject forward and helping people connect with them through the photographs. Or, so whether that connection can be instant message or photograph, or a teacher to a student or a business to a customer, this is something a thread that I've kind of followed through most of my career. And, it's why I say play as much, because it's just something I enjoy so much, which is weird because people would say, fundamentally, I always say I'm an introvert. I actually am an introvert. But I'm a professional extrovert. And so I figured out how to walk with a foot in each camp.
Yeah. I know that feeling. You kind of like, I don't know if they call it mask, but it's almost like this
No.
like persona when it comes to like professional and then I don't know I'm kind of like that word like when it comes to professional work it's like I'm very extroverted. I would like to socialize, but when I'm home I just want to be alone. I want to like just write in my journal and shut the world out a bit. So yeah, I like that introverted but professionally extroverted.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely the fully hybridized, whatever you want, whatever the modern phrasing is nowadays. Definitely the fully hybridized team. No, it's interesting. So look, there are multiple, I'm sure there are thousands of books on management philosophies and et cetera. And I go back to at least my management philosophy is never forgetting that it's about people. And if you keep a people-centric approach to how you solve problems and process what's happening, et cetera, it doesn't magically make everything better or easier, but it tends to lead to better outcomes. Because if an organization fundamentally values its people, trusts and understands that, hey, we're all here for the same thing, and we all want to row in the same direction, but maybe we're not because we don't have the context or someone's confused or, unfortunately, maybe you have somebody who just isn't interested in rowing the same direction, that, you work at solving that through, understanding, meeting them where they are, having the hard conversations that you have to, but always doing it from the front, if you will. Never
Mhm.
ask someone to do something you wouldn't do yourself. And so
Absolutely.
it's, yeah.
But
But
how
it's
do you
leading,
balance
not
that?
managing. I hate
Yeah,
managing.
saying you
Oh no.
hate managing.
I like that you called it leadership because I do think that what it's about. Some places it's called manager, or, I want to be a manager, and it's how do you manage people and et cetera. And that's to me, is command and control. It destroys the agency and the autonomy of the individual. And if you hired right, you have people who thirst to go do really big things, and you can't tell someone how to be creative. You got to let them be creative. So you have to lead them forward and support them, not manage them or direct them.